one of the questions when I sat down with Fitzgerald the other day, I asked him, is the coaching staff safe, specifically, Sheldon Keefe? He says they're in lockstep. And what's your assessment on his body of work so far as the Devils head coach? And is he the right fit for this team?
Yeah, I mean, I should preface it by saying I've generally been a fan of Sheldon Keefe's work. I thought he did an awesome job in Toronto. I thought he was a great hire for them when he came in. I think he generally, just because he's on the younger end of the NHL head coaching spectrum, I think he's sort of thought of as, and he came from the Leafs that had Matthews and Marner and Tavares and Nylander. He's thought of as like this more modern kind of progressive, offensively oriented coach, and that's really not what he is. Like, I think,
right,
at its root, like, he's more of a defensive guy. He was responsible for the Leafs really getting better defensively over the years while he was there towards the end of the tenure. And that's clearly the way he wants his Devils team to play. I'm not sure that's ideal for this current personnel group, and probably explains part of the offensive struggles at 5-on-5. Yet I would put more of the blame on the management group and them kind of dragging their feet the past couple off seasons, not meaningfully improving this team up front, not finding a solution for that top line with Hughes and Bratt. And I think that's been a bigger issue than the coaching. I think you can only do so much with the personnel you're given. And so that's the direction I'd lean in. But I get the frustration because it's been a lot of the same issues recurring. You see him keep Markstrom for all 9 goals against the Islanders. The following game against the Penguins, I was pretty surprised watching that one. They're down 4-1, I think, and he showed no real interest in pulling the goalie or trying to get back in that game. He was almost like, well, this is a lost cause. We're just going to move on to the next one. And people are getting frustrated. They want something to change. And I get why you'd point to the coach. It's easier to do that than a GM change in season with how respected Fitzgerald is and sort of the resume, not the resume he has, but I guess the stock he has in this organization right now. So I'm not sure. I don't know. What's your take on that in terms of how much of this you put on Keefe and how easy of a fix that would be? Because I feel like you could bring in another coach, but it would probably be more of the same unless you change the guys up front.
That's exactly how I feel. I think that if it's going to be the same parts, and what is that next coach going to have to work with? We came into this season kind of knowing that the Devils had a need at top 6 forward. You couldn't continue to, roll out Andre Palat next to Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes on the first line. It was something that they were going to have to figure out. You weren't sure if you can completely trust Cody Glass as a third line center. Still not even sure if you can do that. I mean, he's been doing really well as of late, and he has really great defensive metrics. But he's probably a high profile 4C to me and a low profile 3C, whereas you can probably go out and get somebody like maybe a Ryan O'Reilly who would slot in perfectly behind, Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier in the depth chart. So those were clear needs that I think were just scoffed at in conversation with him, which I wasn't sure why that was the assessment. And he did explain he thought it was going to come internally. He thought guys like Dawson Mercer were going to step up and score, 30 goals and replace Tyler Toffoli from 2 seasons ago. I keep banging this drum. My audience is probably sick of me hearing this, but they never replaced Tyler Toffoli, who was scoring at a 35-goal pace when they traded him 2 seasons ago. So, something like that, he did say he thought was going to come to fruition, never did. And now he's stuck in this situation where he needs to go externally and look for it all.